Hey, what's up, geeks? Darron here. Now, in this video, I want to discuss dealing with the imposter syndrome. If you're not familiar with the imposter syndrome, that's basically when you don't feel like you deserve to be there. So I'm going to talk to you about how I dealt with that. And before I get into my story, in the link description below, if you're interested in learning React Native, check out the link in the description below. And then also, if you want to be a part of the React Native community, there's a link to our Facebook group as well. There you can network with other React Native developers, get help on your React Native issues, and then also we can help each other with employment as well. So definitely check that out. Now, anyways, dealing with the imposter syndrome, there's no amount of work that you can do to help you from not having the imposter syndrome. Typically, you get this when you first start working as a software developer and you've only worked on like your own personal projects. You have no idea what to expect working for a large size company or even mid-sized company. But you really don't have to, you really shouldn't worry about that too much. You know, I know for me dealing with that, when I was with a company, I was afraid to even code because I was afraid I was going to mess something up for whatever reason. And my boss had to tell me, he's like, you're actually a lot better than you think you are. He said, you need to learn how to trust yourself. And he was completely right, because once I started coding, once I really committed to coding and I was getting down into it, about a month, I felt comfortable. I didn't know everything, but I definitely felt comfortable to complete my tickets. And yeah, the only way that you can really overcome this type of imposter syndrome is just getting in there. You have to make your mistakes. You have to hope that you're with a team that's going to be patient with you. But that's just the way it goes. I know for me that when I started my first position, I was the only mobile developer. So there was no other developer that I can actually speak to about mobile development and ask them, hey, am I building this correctly, or give me suggestions on mobile development. I had to develop the application. Well, I had to design the application, develop it, and deploy the application. I was also responsible for managing two other engineers in India at the time. So, and I was a point of contact, and I also took care of like our Jira tickets, and I was in a part of a lot of meetings with upper management. So I had a major role immediately, you know, from my first position. And I'm happy that I had that role. I'm happy that I wore many hats, because it allowed me to see how an application works within a company at multiple different levels. And most people can go their entire career without that. But as I stated, dealing with the imposter syndrome is something that just happens over. It happens over time. I would things that I would say is don't take any kind of criticism personal. You know, a lot of people that I worked with when we had our code reviews, I remember just being really impatient for my code reviews. I felt like every time somebody left a comment on something, that it was just like an attack on me, an attack on like my entire character or my entire skills as a developer. And I didn't want to, and I would get kind of not confrontational, but I would get really impatient, aggressive, the way that I would handle it, the way I would speak, like, hey, you know, I was impatient. But really, what you should do, you should learn to relax and take those code reviews serious, because that's an opportunity for you to improve your software development skills. I've worked with so many great developers over the years. You know, from my first position, I went off to like work with a few Fortune 500 companies. And man, the way they architect their applications and the people they have working for them are amazing. I definitely met developers that I was better than, but I also met some Michael Jordans along the way, man. Some Kobe Bryants. They were amazing. I did as much as I could to learn as much as I could from them. And they were always really nice guys. You know, the people who are often great developers are really, they're really kind. I mean, you get some guys that are really smart and they caught on to something and they stick to it. And then it can be, they can be jerks, man, because they're not open to anybody else's way of thinking. But with these guys that are like amazing, they've also met amazing developers, and they were open to learning from those developers, and they went ahead and had an amazing career. So yeah, dealing with the imposter syndrome, man, I think that that's something that is normal, not just for software development. It's normal for anything that you're trying for the first time. I remember, for example, I was playing the guitar in college. I took classical guitar classes in college, and I really didn't have any anxiety in class. We would have to perform. People loved it because I would get into it. But there were a few other people while we'd be in class. We'd be playing like a piece together as a group, and it would be about 5 guitarists like holding the entire piece together, and that was 5 out of 20 people. And our teacher at the time, he would have to tell us like, hey, you know, don't be afraid to pluck the strings, make the mistakes. That's how you learn. And it's the same thing with software development. You have to pluck the strings and make the mistakes. That's the only way you're going to learn. That's true in sports, martial arts especially, and many other things in life. So you just have to step in there and then step in there and know that over time, you're definitely going to become a better software developer, and a lot of this anxiety that you have is going to fade away. Now, hopefully you found this video helpful. If you're interested in learning React Native, check out the links below. And yeah, I'll catch you next time. Thank you for watching. Peace.